is No Gifts Please, the parenting podcast by the pair with no real gifts, but a whole lot of gumption. Hey everyone, I'm Steve Noviello.
And I'm Jenny Anchondo.
You know, I always love getting to catch up with you. Generally, we'll sit here chit-chatting and we have to remind the studio people, hey, we're ready to go whenever you are, because we'll just sit here talking to us. But something interesting did come up. You and I are very much cut from the same cloth in the respect of, I like to call it motivated. My husband, I think, sees it as not satisfied. And you and I, not surprisingly, have a very similar trait, which I didn't really realize manifests itself in your home as well as mine. You know, whereas I'm like, okay, this, then like there's not an end, right?
You can't leave well enough alone.
No, like it's not because he has said to me before, but why are you unhappy? I'm like, I'm not unhappy. It's not unhappy, but it's about, hey, like, what if we and it could be anything. It could be, what if we redid the powder bath?
I knew you were going to say a redo. Yes.
Like, what about, gosh,
totally.
That wall could use some wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Curtains hung to the ceiling over here would make this room feel a lot taller. Because frankly, I look at it as like, if I didn't have that drive, we wouldn't have children. We would still be living in an apartment in North Carolina.
We would also not have children. Well, we would have the first one.
You sure
but
would.
Certainly not the second one.
Right.
And it's so true.
Does it ever frustrate you? Or are you ever just like, God, it must be so nice for you that these things just kind of happen?
That they don't have to do anything for all these things to happen around them.
Yes.
Yeah, I do think that. But then also Heath makes money, and that allows
that's nice.
Things to
be paid for,
and stuff like that.
But also, yes, do you think that
he gets more annoyed with me because he's like, can you just
stop?
He said, as a person who is planning to be a consistent person in your life, it scares me that you always need something different, that you're always looking for the next thing. And he's like, I am always going to be me. I am not changing. You met me as a full grown adult. This is who I am. And so when you're can't even deal with the same food 2 days in a row, or I'm constantly changing recipes, it's little stuff like my chili recipe he loves, but I'm always like, oh, I normally do black beans. Why don't we try pinto? Let's see if I can do an even leaner beef and have it still taste good. What if I made it a little spicier? And he's like, can you just stop? Just I liked the chili recipe. And so then he sees that and he can deal with that. But then in the greater scope of things, he thinks what? I'm still just going to be here. And
that's so funny that you say that, because Doug is the same way, where he's like, not in so many words, but I hear what you're saying. Like, as the person who has dedicated his life to yours, it's a little, I don't know, unnerving maybe.
Yeah.
That you seem to like to switch everything in your life up, to which I say, exactly. And understand how special that makes you, right?
Yeah, we have not changed them up for
correct.
More than a
Nor
decade.
do I plan to. I mean, Doug and I have been together for 24 years.
And he's been the same Doug, I'm guessing, most of the time? Or
I think we've both evolved. I mean, certainly we were kids when we met. So we did a lot of growing up together. I mean, we were in our 20s, I mean, now I'm in my 50s, he in his younger 20s.
You need to tell people that you're in your 50s more often.
Because it's so shocking.
Yeah, because you look good.
We had a guy on the show today. And
you
he
need
was
to just bring it up casually.
And I was like, oh my gosh, you look, how do you have grandchildren?
Oh, well.
But you know what? People in their early to mid 50s have grandchildren. Isn't that insane?
I have ex-boyfriends with grandchildren, several of them.
Yeah.
Not several, well, probably several grandkids and probably several ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are we had kids late. What can we say?
Right. For sure.
Yeah, you just need to bring that up casually.
My parents, I want to say, well, my nieces are, the oldest one is 24. So 24 years ago, they would have been, they were grandparents when they were my age, becoming grandparents when they were my age. Isn't that crazy?
It does. I get a little bit sad sometimes.
Yes,
thinking,
let's not go down that road.
Sorry, I have to. I already did it. You can close your ears, but I'll talk to the audience on this.
Okay.
I just think I want to be an active grandparent, and unless my daughters are teen moms, I'm going to be pretty old.
Well, here's the good news.
And if Heath doesn't start eating healthier, he's going
to start working on that leaner chili recipe. But here's the good news. My parents were grandparents twice, right? So they were grandparents with my nieces, and then they decades later, not decades, but at more than a decade later, became grandparents again. I mean, they became grandparents in their, late 60s again. My grandfather, my father was probably in his 70s about when Jacob was born. So, like that's what I will be, is what I'm saying. And they're very active grandparents.
Oh, absolutely.
They're very active.
I would never look at either of our parents and think like, oh, how sad.
Yes.
No, not at all.
So yes, I mean, I'm not going to be a 55-year-old grandparent, hopefully. But I will probably, hopefully, get to be a 70-year-old grandparent. And I think that 70 is the new 60, so I may as well be fine.
No, I think it's fine. And we're definitely not alone. For sure. I mean, a lot of people are having kids later. I mean, absolutely. But I just hope that my kids don't have kids later.
Right, exactly.
It'll be fine if they have kids just like
at
a
normal time.
A normal Texas
I think about
kind
this
of
constantly.
age. Okay, me too.
I'm like, for honestly, it'd be a little better if they had it at a normal Alabama time. I mean, that would be fine. That would be fine with me.
And I could be like, I'm like, just do it. And then I have friends who are empty nesters now that had maybe just one or two kids really young.
My college friends who had children at a normal time, all of their kids are in college, if not gone.
I just don't think, like, God knew I was not ready. I still sometimes feel like a teen mom.
Yes. No, 100. Well, because I still,
not knowing what to do.
Until I walk past a mirror, I still think I'm 25 years old.
Me too.
And we'll look at like Raul, for example, right? That I work with. His daughter is a senior in college. She's moving to Australia after graduation.
Like, is he old enough to advise this move? That just feels crazy to me.
If you think I'm a child, I mean, he's an even bigger child.
Yes. I actually remember exactly where I was sitting when I learned
that he was a father.
We were sitting in the, like, pulling in underneath the garage, and there was something about a school form or something. And I was like, for who? I didn't work with him often. It was just like a one-off. And I was like, oh, wow.
You have a neighbor? Are you a babysitter?
You have a child?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I get that at work too. Like most of the younger women that I work with who are in their 20s, they're like, I keep forgetting that you're somebody's dad.
Somebody's dad.
That's crazy. We went to Disney on Ice on Sunday.
Oh, how was it?
It was great. And Doug didn't go. So I was like to Paige, I was like, hey, you live next door to the American Airlines Center. How about you come with me and the kids to Disney on Ice? And she did.
You were just like trying to get a babysitter.
Well, no.
You were getting like a free.
But again, it's like, these are my children. Like I'm their dad.
Had she met the kids before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't like a big
she's met
meeting.
Them before. Yeah, she's been to the house when we did that backyard hibachi night when I had colleagues over.
Oh, that's right. That's
and
cute.
they were there, and the kids obviously took part in that.
Yeah,
also.
and they were entertaining the crowd.
They were.
So, what are some of the other things that you try to change? Like, is it niche like chili recipes, or is it?
Well, but even okay. So, like, look at my work, for example, right? Like, I was hired here as a consumer reporter 20 some odd years ago, and it's like, okay, like let's do that. And I remember at the beginning, I was like, hey. Like we didn't have a website at the time because it was 25 years ago or 20 whatever years ago.
You didn't have a personal website or Fox?
Fox didn't really have a website with like links or anything on it. Like it was, I mean, we had to program it ourselves. No, it didn't come till way later. Like our first major website, like with video, was around the time Fox bought YouTube. Oh, no, sorry. Bought MySpace.
I was like, Fox owns YouTube.
No, But so I was like, okay, great. So like we're doing this now. Let's have a call-in line where you could call the consumer hotline and you could hear the consumer headline. I would record consumer headlines, like for people who just couldn't get enough of me. Who knows if anybody ever called? You've come a long way, baby. Right? And then it was like, okay, well, let's do this. Let's add this franchise. How about we do this? How about we do Fox Fix? How about we do this? How about we have a green team? How about we do this? And it's how about we add holiday gift guide? Like let's do that. Like now let's make it national. Now it's all now I'm in programming.
Because it does get boring. It's like.
Yeah, but I also love that kind of stuff. Like, so I think that that's just who I am, and it's who my mom is, and who my dad is for in some respects. Although I think that he has a better control over his, but like the idea of doing, and being enough has always been somewhat elusive, I would say, during my life.
I understand that. I wonder if mine's even more. I feel like I feel enough, or I'm not so excited about having something to prove career-wise. However, I can't stand even just the same thing day to day to eat. Like I was explaining.
See, and I'm just the opposite. Like I could
you like to have the same thing.
I could eat. Like there was a phase in my life, I knew you then, where I was like shredded, jacked, like meal planning, now granted it was grilled chicken, so it wasn't really great. But I could eat this. I ate the same meal 6 times a day for like months on end.
That is so hard for me to do. Even a treat, like I don't like to do the same treat. I also have like a slight fear of addiction, which is why I don't even drink coffee every day, or I just hope that I randomly just don't get to have coffee because I'm like, okay, cool. I checked off a day of no caffeine. Like I hadn't had gluten in months and months and months and months and months. And when I don't have food or like of course I pack the kids' lunches and then I like don't pack anything for myself. So then I'm like scrounging around for a protein bar or like something. And you and I both buy at the podcast studio. They have nuts. So I'm like, okay, that's a good gluten-free option. But I had that last time and I just like, I couldn't have it again.
Couldn't do it.
It's weird. It's
See,
annoying.
and I'm just the opposite. I always say like I would be, if you ever needed to murder me, it would be very easy to do because I do the same thing every day. I get up, I go get my coffee, I go get this, I'm a very routine. It's the same coffee, it's the same breakfast, it's the same.
That's such a life hack that you should just be so grateful that you do that because that's the whole like Steve Jobs thing, right? Like wearing the same outfit and everything like that too. I'll ruin a good outfit. Like I have a planned outfit that somebody helped me pick out and it looks really good. I'll wear it once and then if I'm wearing it again, I have to like add a belt, right? Change the shoe, put on the jewelry, and I look at it. I'm like, it's wrong. I messed it up now, but I couldn't help myself.
But is that because you feel like people have seen it on TV, or this is an outfit you're wearing casually?
It's just like an internal thing. It's just like a problem. It's a problem. Like I just ordered this gluten sandwich, because I just couldn't possibly eat the cashews.
Right. So now
I've ruined my whole gluten-free thing, which is supposed to help with like my joint pain and stuff. I don't know if it really helps. So I may be giving up.
We're about to find out.
If you have to cart me out of here after my sandwich,
exactly.
Then we'll know.
We were also talking about budgets, kind of in the break. Yeah. You were asking me what if we have like a personal budget or a household budget?
If you guys have one, I think this is such a weird transition because and obviously you and Doug have been together for a lot longer than Heath and I have been, but we're coming up on 10 years. And I was a big budgeter personally, whether I had a mortgage or a rent payment or something. I knew how much that was. I knew how much if I like had a car payment, I knew how much that was. I knew pretty much exactly how much money I had to spend outside of that always. And then you get married and it's just like, do you guys have budgets? Do you know? What does that look like?
Well,
save me stuff.
Well, so let me ask you this. Do you just combine all of your money? Mm-hmm. So how do you, so we don't, we have separate financial lives.
So who pays for what?
We both pay, so like, for example, we add up all of our common expenses. And we did this a long time ago. Okay. We add up because also there was a time where there was a great disparity in what we made. Uh-huh. One of us was a higher earner than the other one was, okay. Right? And then that kind of evened itself out over the years. And then kind of once it evened itself out and got to a certain point, we haven't really revisited it, even though I think one of us out earns the other one right now. But we looked at, okay, what are our common expenses? Gas, electric, mortgage, taxes, property taxes, like the
right. And then
cable,
do you pay
blah,
the
blah,
percentage of what you make, or do you split it?
Correct. We pay the percentage. So, okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's say our common household expenses are $5,000 a month.
Okay.
Whatever. We both make, using round numbers, $1,000, $100,000 a month. 5,000 is 5% of our salary. So we each contribute 5%, right? So that's how we looked at it. So and it works out well because you might say, okay, well, gosh, that's, it's, you're actually adding it up differently. So you're saying, okay, it's 5% of our total household income, right? It would be 100,000, but he earns, let's say 60 of that and I earn 40 of that. So he's putting in the same percentage that I am. It's different amounts, same percentage. It's different amounts,
same percentage. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That seems like the most fair because that would be really tough if you're just splitting it and one person isn't earning the same income.
Yes.
And then what about for the kids stuff?
Well, and then there's also other stuff that I'm just like we did a pool renovation, it was a 6-figure pool renovation and I just paid for it. Because because I think that he might have contributed somehow.
You
but
were you started it though. Back to our earlier
Correct.
point, like first of all, you started it.
I started it.
You harassed the pool people.
Yes.
You could have opted for him paying for all of it because you were doing all the legwork of like harassing the people.
I was the instigator. I also had some side income at the time that I would kind of look at as free money.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well, this isn't really, so yes. But like we also, so like now with our budget, we have a common household expenses account, which our mortgage is drawn from, our taxes are drawn from, our bills are drawn from, the kids' lunches, the lunch bill at school is drawn from, the aftercare bill, all of those kinds of things. And then we individually have, and even for me within that, it gets more granular. Like for me, I have my permanent savings account that's not to be touched. I have a liquid savings account that's like, hey, this is money that I'm putting in a couple $100 every paycheck in here, and then there's a day where I want to splurge on something and now it's in here. I have an account for my trainer so that I don't get a bill from him once every 20 sessions, but I pay each time I get paid into this account so that it's never a huge amount of money. I pay it as if it's happening every single time I get paid. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then I have a liquid allowance account, meaning I give myself, let's say it's $500 a week to spend on coffee and, whatever, lunches, and, maybe I want to go to manicure or whatever, whatever the case is. So, so like my paycheck goes into an account and immediately it automatically gets dispersed into probably 7 or 8 different other accounts and funds them all in real time every 2 weeks.
It's a web.
You know what? But you set it and forget it.
Yeah,
you do
it's
once.
fantastic.
Like it's funny. We had friends over and I color code my clothing in our closet, and he was like, "God, that looks like a pain in the neck." And I was like, "Actually, it's not.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
Do it once, and then when you're hanging up laundry, the hangers are already where they need to be."
Do you color code it per each section? Is it like t-shirts in one area, then suits and everything like that? Me too. I love it.
I also hang t-shirts, which I know is a little crazy, but like
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm
a t-shirt hanger.
Well, like otherwise, I kind of hate t-shirts.
Yeah. I mean, I wear them a lot.
When?
The gym, the weekends, the afternoon, I also I consider this a t-shirt, like it's a cotton knit
it's a nice
that I would
t-shirt.
wear under a suit.
I just feel like you won't wear them and they get wrinkly when they're folded.
Staying on topic though, so
on topic?
How do you budget? Do you both when you get paid, do you just both throw your money in a giant bucket?
Yeah.
And then if you're like, hey, I want to buy, and I know you don't do this regularly, but if you're like, gosh, I want to buy this Chanel handbag.
That's the thing.
That's
why
work?
he's like, we don't need to do this because you perpetually under purchase.
Right.
And so, but then I'm like,
should I be buying more?
Should I buy more? I'm not perpetually. That sounded wrong. But he's like, we're not. You're not doing anything concerning. But I'm always like, we should have a budget like I used to have. Like and really a lot of our things are fixed, right? Your mortgage, the kids' school. We know how much that's going to be. Childcare. We know how much that's going to be. There's not a ton of unexpected expenses. He's also commission. So he's also like a base plus commission. So our combined income can vary quite a bit, but it's generally evens out to be about the same. Yeah, I think about it all the time just because I liked to spend I like to save to my max, but also spend to my max.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So it's time to buy a new car for you.
Uh-huh.
Which one of you is like, hey, we're getting a Bentley, and I know not a Bentley, but or a Buick?
That's a good. I feel like I just kind of intuitively know.
Because here's the thing, for me, Doug, if you want to go buy a new car, go buy a new car. I have nothing to do with that. In fact, getting back to Raul, I remember years ago, we were out on a shoot at a Best Buy and I was like, you know what? I need to pick up a television. And I bought a TV. Was it a TV? I think it was a TV. And he was like, you're just going to buy, you don't have to have a conversation with Doug about buying this TV. And I was like, no. But I also buy, here's the thing.
You buy all the things for the house, kind of.
Right. But he is spending a fortune on plants and exterior things and air filters.
Oh,
and
Heath too.
Right.
I'm like, did we really need that giant? Plants are so expensive.
Plants are very expensive. But yes, sure, I'm spending, whatever on rugs and sofas, but I'm doing that once every 5-6 years. Whereas he's every season, buying all of this kind of stuff. And I guess it all just kind of evens out in the end. I'm not really concerned about that. Like we just went on spring break and we every week we pay into our family savings account, which is used for vacations. So every 2 weeks we put whatever it is in there from each of our paychecks. And then we went on spring break and we spent whatever. And I said, hey, let me put everything on one card. That way it's a card that I never use for anything else. That way everything's right there. And at the end, I look at the balance. Okay, here's what it is. I go to the family savings account and I pay off the bill. And that's that. Because we already prepaid for our experience.
Totally. A lot of accounts.
It kind of is.
It's a lot.
I could never switch
I'm just
banks.
picturing like trying to go to bed at night. You could never switch banks. Never. You were, no matter what they do.
There's got to be at least, like it's one member number, but there's got to be at least a dozen sub-accounts.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But also smart.
Like I have one for us. I have one for this podcast. Oh, we have you and I mean, you're not on it, but like we have
probably your biggest.
We have a podcast account where every time we come in here and record, that's where the money comes from to pay the bill.
Biggest slush
it just sits
fund
there.
of them all.
Yeah. No Chanel bags in that account. But I mean, okay, but back to your point, how do you?
We just kind of feel it out. I don't know. Or that's what I'm saying. Okay,
so let me ask you this. So you're like, hey, Brighton wants to go to this cheer competition. Is there a conversation? And again, let me also preface this by saying, like, I get that we're hardworking, we're high earners, you know, in terms of the national average, and we're very blessed and hardworking to have those things. So like, hey, Brighton Cheer. Is it like, is he like, well, hey, how much does that cost? Or are you like, hey,
No, because it's always me. I'm always like, can we get a cheaper hotel room? Like the team's staying at the Ritz. Can we stay at Holiday Inn Express? Like 100% of the time. And I think he knows that I'm always doing that. And I'm always like, what's the flight like on Southwest? Or like, if we wait, let me track this on Kayak. He knows that I'm always doing that. So I think he doesn't ask because he knows whatever it is, it's probably going to be the best deal. And I know
and you're not in a situation where it's like, oh my God, Jenny, we're running out of money.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming he would
tell you. Do you have any idea what's in your joint bank account?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I mean, I can see all of it. I can see it. But still, I mean, I don't know, but because things can come up, right? There's like, you know, your property taxes. Those are huge.
Well, so we pay ours every 2 weeks.
We have a separate account for that. But
we pay into it from our paycheck every 2 weeks.
I'm always curious what those conversations are for people. Like before summer camp, I just book all the summer camps and I pay for them, and I'll try to skip some weeks or whatever if we have family in town or don't need a. I try to like not be obnoxious and overspending and buying things we don't need.
Well, and I think that you also know, like we did a tennis camp last year, and I was like, whoa, this is way more expensive than the usual $350 a week that summer camp costs. Now, conversely, you sent me a camp that we signed up for, which was $125.
Bingo.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like, can we do this all summer? So when it's a big one like the tennis camp thing, I also am good about intuitively knowing like, hey, this is a little out of range here. Now, am I going to go to him and be like, hey, heads up, do you think we can afford this? Probably not, but I might be more cognizant of making sure we go to the $125 camp because now we are actually averaged out at what we were spending anyway.
That's exactly what I do. Like based on previous years, I'm kind of averaging things out, or like just, I don't know, uniform spends or new shoes or just things like that come up. I feel like I'll bring it up to him if it's a wild thing. The TV you should have talked to Doug about though, because that's like a visual. What if he had a different preference of TV?
No, we're guys.
Okay.
Like whatever the largest TV that fits on the wall is what we buy.
So it's still the same for you and Doug.
Yeah, no, that part about being a guy doesn't go away when you're in a same-sex relationship.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm usually the instigator. I'm like, hey, let's get a new TV.
And you want it to be bigger.
And we have a frame TV in our bedroom right now.
Is that the one that shows a picture?
I love it.
Yeah, I need to get that, right?
I love it.
Those are a lot. Those are an investment, right?
Yeah.
I need to talk to you about.
Hey, speaking of being cognizant of people's investment, we want to be cognizant of the time you invest in listening to our podcast. So I do want to say goodbye right now because we're a little over the time that we usually go. But we do invite you to come back every Tuesday morning when a new episode drops on your favorite podcast platform. And if you do nothing else today, go find yourself a friend you don't need to clean the house for. We'll see you next time.